Hey there, this is Coach Cassandra, and today I'm going to talk to you about how much you should be lifting, how hard you should be running, and what exactly is the rate of perceived exertion. So stay tuned. All right, so first up, what is the rate of perceived exertion? Okay, this is the method that I like to use to know about how hard you are working. And that's exactly what it tells you. It's based on your personal experience doing the exercise on how hard you are working. So it's a scale between 1 and 10, 1 being super light, 10 being extremely difficult, okay? And based on what your exertion level is how you line up on that scale. So perceived exertion is how hard you are working. So when you are exercising, your heart is beating faster, you're working up a sweat, it's becoming more difficult to breathe, your muscles might be complaining more. All of this is your rate of perceived exertion. So here's the scale. 1 is very light activity. That's sitting on the couch, watching TV, maybe having dinner, things like that. That is a rate of perceived exertion of a level 1. Level 2 and 3, that is light activity. So this is maybe something like walking around the house, doing some dishes, things like that, where yeah, you could be doing this for hours and hours, but you're not really exerting yourself super hard, okay? That's a level 2, 3. Next up is level 4 through 6. This is like a moderate activity level. So this might be something like going for a casual walk, okay? You could do it for a long time. You may not want to, but you could do this for a long time. But you're starting to feel like, okay, my heart rate's getting up. You know, I can feel that I'm breathing a bit harder. Perhaps the muscles, if you're doing not cardio, if you're doing lifting, this is like me lifting 3-pound weights, okay? I could be doing this for a really long time, but yeah, I can tell that my muscles will get tired eventually, that kind of thing. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're moving into that 7, 8 level where it's a vigorous activity. This means this is borderline uncomfortable, okay? Borderline uncomfortable, okay? So maybe if you're doing weightlifting, this is something that you could do 15 to 20 repetitions of at that weight, okay? So it's something that is like, yeah, this is uncomfortable, but perhaps I could still do 15 to 20 reps of these bicep curls. So they're not that hard, but it's definitely a little bit uncomfortable. If this is cardio, this is something maybe like speed walking, maybe a light jog. If you're using the talk test, you can still say a sentence, okay? So you're not at the point to where you are struggling to get a sentence out. You can get a sentence out, but maybe it's a little bit difficult. That's that vigorous activity, but it's still borderline uncomfortable. You're not uncomfortable yet. Next, we graduate into 9, okay? This is that 9 level. This is where it is difficult to get a sentence out, where you are struggling to breathe. You're breathing hard. If you are lifting weights, this is where maybe you can only get 8 repetitions in, okay, before like your muscles are gonna give out. All right, then you've got that level 10. Level 10 is an all-out effort. It's where you can only, if you're doing lifting, you can only lift maybe 2 reps, okay? Maybe 1 rep, okay? This is like your maximum effort. If you're doing cardio, it's like a full-out sprint, okay? It's nothing that you can maintain for a long time is the idea, okay? That is the rate of perceived exertion 1 through 10. Now, which one should you be hitting? Well, it kind of depends on what you're doing, right? If you're doing a HIIT class, you want to actually be at that 9 or 10. You want to be at that all-out pace, okay? If you're doing weightlifting, if you're doing bicep curls in a HIIT class, you shouldn't be able to do more than 4 or 5 depending on the time, but if it's at like 20 seconds, if you're doing a Tabata, you shouldn't be able to do more than 4 or 5, okay? It should be heavy, it should be hard. Same goes for cardio. If you're doing a HIIT or if you're doing Tabatas or if you're doing interval training of any kind, you're doing a sprint if you're running. If you're doing jump jacks, if you're doing high knees, you are going at an all-out pace. You really want to be hitting that 9 or 10 on the rate of perceived exertion. Now, let's say you're just doing a regular cross-training class, okay? Maybe you are working on building muscle, not exhausting muscle. That's when you want to be doing that 7 to 8, maybe like a 5 or a 6, okay? there's definitely, you want to be varying your intensity, okay? You don't want to be doing HIIT class after HIIT class. That's not a good thing, okay? You want to be working on something and then you want to push it to the max. Next day, work on something and then push it to the max the next day, okay? So you want to be varying. If you're doing something like an active recovery day, that's when you want to be at that 3 or that 4, the 5, okay? You really want to take it down a notch because it's an active recovery day, okay? Then if you are doing something like a full-on rest day, you want to be at that 1, that 2, that 3, right? All right, so there you have it. Those are the rates of perceived exertion and what level you want to be doing for which kind of activity. If you have any specific questions, leave them in the comments below and I will do my best to answer them. Until next time, see you later.